Take a moment now to settle where you are. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to follow closely, nothing you need to remember. This story is not asking for your attention. It is offering you rest. Allow your breathing to slow, not by force, but by permission. In and out. Let the day soften at its edges. Let the weight you have carried begin to loosen, little by little. Tonight, you are invited into a place of deep quiet, a place that existed long before schedules, before noise, before urgency. You do not need to travel far. You only need to drift. As your body grows heavier, your mind can grow lighter, floating gently on the rhythm of your breath. In and out. Imagine now a wide, open night sky, not the kind filled with lights and motion, but a sky as it once was, dark, clear, and endless. Stars are scattered slowly across it, steady and patient, each one holding its place without effort. Below that sky, the land rests, soft hills, quiet earth, stone that has known thousands of years of sun and wind. This is southeastern Anatolia, though names are not important yet. What matters is the feeling. The air here is cool and dry, gentle against the skin. The ground beneath feels solid, unchanging, reliable. There are no roads, no distant engines, no hum of modern life, only wind moving lightly over grass and the quiet presence of the land itself. Somewhere within this landscape is a low hill, not tall, not dramatic, a hill that does not demand attention and yet somehow holds it. You are not standing on it yet. You are simply aware of it, as one becomes aware of something without knowing why. The hill feels calm, grounded, old. It has been here a very long time, long before writing learned to speak, long before cities rose and fell, long before history learned how to record itself. And tonight, you are allowed to rest beside it. As you breathe slowly, the sense of time begins to stretch. Minutes lose their sharpness. Thoughts come more softly and leave more easily. In and out. This story will move slowly. It will repeat gently. It will pause often. Because sleep does not arrive through effort. It arrives through safety. You are safe here. The hill does not rush. The land does not hurry. The night does not expect anything from you. As your body settles deeper, your shoulders can soften, your jaw can loosen, your hands can rest heavily. The mind, too, can set down what it has been holding. There will be no sudden moments in this story, no loud turns, no sharp edges, only a steady unfolding, like firelight flickering quietly against stone. As the night deepens, you begin to sense that this hill has drawn people before. Not crowds, not armies, small groups, families, quiet gatherings. They came not to conquer, not to claim, but to pause, to sit beneath the stars, to share warmth, to breathe together in silence. They did not leave written records. They did not carve their names. They left something else. Stone placed carefully, circles shaped slowly, marks made with patience. But none of that needs to be clear yet. For now you are only resting near a place that feels different, a place that has waited for thousands of years without impatience. Your breath continues its slow rhythm, in and out. The stars above do not move quickly. They glide almost imperceptibly across the dark sky. The wind quiets, the land listens, and as your awareness drifts, the world of the day moves farther away. Soon you will begin to learn about this hill, not through facts or dates, but through feeling, through quiet imagination, through gentle presence. But there is no need to go there yet. For now you are simply here, resting, breathing, safe beneath the night sky. The story will continue whether you listen or sleep, and both are welcome. Let your breath slow once more, in and out, and allow yourself to drift a little deeper into rest. The night settles fully now, not all at once but gently, as though it has learned how to arrive without disturbance. The Anatolian hills rest beneath the sky, their shapes softened by darkness, their edges smoothed by time. Nothing here is sharp, nothing demands attention. The land stretches quietly in every direction, low rises and shallow valleys, covered with grasses that move only slightly when the wind remembers to pass through. You can feel that wind now, cool and dry, carrying the faint scent of earth and stone. It moves without purpose, without urgency, just enough to remind the land that it is not alone. Above, the sky feels impossibly wide. Stars appear not as points of brightness, but as a soft scattering of steady light, each one distant, each one patient. There is no moon yet, or perhaps it is resting behind thin cloud. Either way, the darkness feels complete, but never heavy. It is the kind of darkness that allows the eyes to rest and the mind to quiet. As your breathing continues its slow rhythm, you may begin to notice how silence here is not empty. It is layered. There is the hush of grass, the distant call of a night bird, brief and uninsistent, the faint movement of something small passing through the undergrowth. Then, beneath it all, there is a deeper quiet, the kind that has been present long before anyone thought to name it. This land has known many nights like this. Thousands, tens of thousands. Nights when there were no fires burning, no voices rising, no footsteps pressing into the soil, and other nights when small groups gathered quietly, drawn by something they could not explain. Tonight feels like one of those nights. You sense that the hill you noticed earlier is closer now, not because you have moved, but because awareness has drifted toward it. It rises gently from the surrounding ground, its slope so gradual it almost goes unnoticed. There is nothing dramatic about it, no sharp peak, no commanding height, and yet it feels steady, as though it has learned how to remain unchanged while everything else slowly shifts around it. The hill does not announce itself. It simply waits. As sleep draws nearer, your thoughts become less defined. They no longer form complete ideas. They soften into impressions, into sensations. The coolness of night air, the steadiness of the ground, the slow rise and fall of breath, in and out. Somewhere in the distance, a small fire burns. Not bright, not large, just enough to offer warmth and a soft glow against the dark. Around it, people sit quietly. They are not speaking much. Words are unnecessary tonight. Their faces are calm, lit gently by flickering light, their eyes reflecting flame and stars. They have come here before. They will come again. But for now, they are simply present. The fire crackles softly, then settles. Embers glow, then dim. The rhythm is slow, predictable, comforting. You do not need to see these people clearly. Their presence is enough. They move carefully across the land, respectful of the quiet, their steps light, their gestures unhurried. They are listening, not for danger, not for instruction. They are listening because the night offers something when one is still enough to hear it. The hill listens too. It absorbs sound, softens movement, holds warmth from the day deep within its soil. As the night deepens, the fire burns lower. People rest, some lying back on the ground, some leaning against stone or earth. Above them, the stars continue their slow journey, unchanged by human presence. Time feels different here. It stretches, it loosens. There is no sense of beginning or end, only continuation. Your breathing mirrors that feeling now, in and out. With each breath, the body grows heavier, the mind quieter. The hill remains, the night remains, and nothing needs to happen. Soon, as rest deepens further, you will begin to sense why this place mattered and why people returned to it again and again. But that understanding will come gently, without explanation. For now you are simply beneath the night sky, resting among quiet hills, listening to the soft language of stillness. The story moves on slowly, whether you follow it or drift away. Both are welcome. The night remains steady. Nothing has changed, and yet something feels closer now. The hill you sensed before is no longer distant. It does not rise suddenly into view. It does not announce itself. It is simply there, a gentle presence within the dark landscape, felt more than seen. As you rest, your awareness drifts toward it without effort, the way a thought drifts when the mind is calm. The ground beneath your awareness feels slightly firmer here, as though the earth itself has learned how to be still. This hill has known many nights. It has felt countless changes in weather, in temperature, in light, and yet it holds a quiet consistency. Wind passes over it softly, never rushing, never lingering too long. Grass bends and rises again. Small stones rest where they have rested for generations. There is nothing remarkable at first glance, no structures rising into the sky, no walls, no markers. And yet people have felt drawn to this place for a very long time. Not because it promised anything, but because it offered something. Stillness. As your breathing continues its slow rhythm, you may begin to sense that this hill changes the way sound behaves. Footsteps feel quieter here. Voices soften naturally. Even the wind seems to move with more care. In and out. Long before anyone thought of building, long before stone was shaped or lifted, this hill was already known. Not by name, not by record. It was known by feeling, by the way the ground held warmth after the sun had set, by the way the stars felt closer when viewed from its gentle slope, by the way thought slowed when one sat here long enough. People did not arrive here with plans, they arrived with time. Small groups would come quietly, often at night, often without speaking. They would sit, sometimes for hours, sometimes until sleep arrived naturally. There was no ceremony, no instruction, just presence. As you drift deeper into rest, you may sense one such gathering. A few figures seated apart, leaving space between one another. A small fire nearby, its light low and steady, offering warmth without brightness. No one feels the need to fill the silence. The silence is already full. The hill listens. The people listen. The stars continue their slow movement overhead, unchanged by human attention. Time passes differently here. Minutes stretch gently. Thoughts loosen their grip. In and out. Somewhere within this stillness, an idea begins to form. Not a sudden thought, not a plan, more like a feeling that something could be placed here. Something simple, something lasting, not to mark ownership, not to impress, but to acknowledge the quiet that already exists. The idea does not demand action. It waits, just as the hill waits. As sleep draws closer, you do not need to follow that idea. It will return later, slowly, patiently. For now, you are simply resting near a place that feels different, because it does not ask anything of you. Your body grows heavier. Your breath slows further. In and out. The hill remains steady beneath the night sky, holding its quiet presence, ready to receive whatever the passing of time may gently bring. And as you rest, the story continues to unfold at its own calm pace, carrying you deeper into the ancient world without ever waking you. The night holds you. The hill holds its silence. The world is very quiet now, so quiet that it feels complete. There are no walls here, no streets, no permanent homes built close together. Life moves lightly across the land, leaving few marks behind. People live with the seasons, following the gentle patterns of weather, of animals, of plants that grow and fade without hurry. They do not think of themselves as separate from this land. They are part of it. You drift into this earlier time without effort, as if memory itself is carrying you there. The air feels clean and open. The ground beneath feels familiar, trusted. Small groups move across the hills and valleys, never large, never rushed. They know where water rests. They know which paths are safe. They know when to pause and when to move on. There is no sense of scarcity here, only attentiveness. Food is gathered patiently. Tools are simple, used carefully and shared. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. As your breathing remains slow and steady, you may sense how different time feels in a world without clocks. There is no schedule to follow, no future moment pulling attention away from the present one. The day unfolds naturally. Morning light warms the land gently. Midday brings stillness and rest. Evening softens everything again. In and out. Children learn by watching, by listening, by being near. There are no lessons spoken loudly, no commands. Knowledge passes quietly, through gesture, through repetition, through shared experience. Elders sit often in silence, observing rather than instructing. They do not rush wisdom. They allow it to settle. As night approaches, people gather loosely, not always together, but close enough to feel connected. Small fires burn low, their light flickering softly against faces and stone. Stories are told sometimes, but not every night. Silence is just as welcome. Above them, the stars return again, steady and familiar. The sky feels like a companion, always present, always patient. In this world, there is no separation between work and rest. Gathering food, repairing tools, sitting quietly, all flow into one another. Rest is not something earned, it is something respected. As you drift deeper into sleep, the details of this life soften. You no longer need to see each movement clearly. You feel the rhythm instead. Movement, pause, stillness. And within that rhythm, the hill you have sensed before begins to take on greater meaning. Not as a place of shelter, not as a place of defense, but as a place of gathering. A place where people return not because they must, but because they feel drawn. This life before cities leaves space for such places to exist. Nothing competes for attention. Nothing crowds the landscape. And so, when people sit upon that gentle hill, beneath the wide night sky, their minds grow quiet in the same way yours is growing quiet now. Your body settles further. Your breathing deepens. In and out. The ancient world rests around you, steady and unhurried. And the story continues to move forward, slowly, patiently, just as the people of this time would have wanted it to. You are safe here. You are unneeded. You are allowed to rest. The night deepens again, and with it the sense of quiet connection grows. People begin to return to the hill more often now, not in great numbers, not with urgency. They arrive slowly, sometimes alone, sometimes in small groups, their movements guided by familiarity rather than intention. The hill has not changed, yet something about it feels more present, as if it has been waiting and now recognizes those who come. The air here feels different at night, cooler, more settled. Sounds seem to soften on the slope, as though the land itself is encouraging stillness. People sit apart from one another, leaving space, yet feeling connected. There is no single place to sit, no marked center. Everyone chooses a spot naturally, guided by comfort rather than design. Some sit facing the sky, some rest with their backs against the gentle rise of earth. Some simply lie down and let the stars move slowly above them. In and out. Breathing becomes slower, shared almost unconsciously. No one leads this gathering, no one explains it. The purpose is not spoken, yet it is understood. This is a place to pause, to let the mind become quiet after days of movement, to let the body rest without fear or interruption. A small fire burns nearby, its light low and steady. It does not draw attention. It offers warmth and comfort, nothing more. Faces are softly illuminated, then fade back into shadow as the flame settles. People speak quietly at first, then less and less. Words lose importance here. Silence does not feel empty. It feels shared. The hill holds that silence gently, never breaking it, never demanding more. As sleep draws nearer for you, the scene grows softer. You no longer need to see each person clearly. They become impressions, calm shapes resting beneath the sky. The stars above continue their slow movement, unchanged by human presence. Time stretches again. Minutes pass without being counted. Thoughts pass without being followed. In and out. Something subtle happens during these gatherings. Not a revelation, not a decision. More like a shared recognition that this place matters, not because of power, not because of protection, but because it allows people to rest together without expectation. The hill becomes familiar. People return to it as one returns to a quiet shoreline or a trusted tree. There is comfort in knowing that a place exists where nothing must be done. As you rest with them, your body mirrors that understanding. Muscles soften further. Your breathing grows deeper. The story does not hurry forward. It stays here for a while, allowing stillness to settle fully. And in that stillness, the earliest sense of intention begins to form. Not to build yet, not to change anything, but to acknowledge what already exists. That moment will come later. For now, the first gatherings remain simple, quiet, and unremarkable. And that is exactly why they are remembered. The hill continues to hold its calm presence. The night continues to stretch wide and gentle. The nights continue to pass gently, one after another, each one settling into the next without clear division. People return to the hill when the seasons feel right. They do not mark these moments on calendars. They feel them in the air, in the temperature of the ground, in the way the sky shifts its color at the edge of dusk. Over time, small changes begin to appear. Not changes in the land, but changes in attention. People begin to notice the stones that rest naturally within the hill. Smooth limestone surfaces, light in color, partially revealed by wind and rain. They have always been here. Now they are being noticed. Hands rest on stone more often. Fingers trace edges and curves, feeling the cool steadiness beneath the skin. There is no rush to move them, no urgency to shape them, only curiosity, quiet and patient. As your breathing remains slow and even, you may sense how this curiosity feels, soft, unforced, in and out. The stones are heavy, yet they do not feel burdensome. They feel reliable. People sit beside them, lean against them, rest hands upon them as they sit in silence. Stone holds warmth from the day, releasing it slowly into the night. It offers comfort without asking anything in return. Over many nights, the idea begins to settle that stone could be placed here deliberately, not as a barrier, not as a wall, but as a marker of presence. The thought does not form as words, it forms as feeling, a sense that the quiet of this place could be honored, acknowledged, held gently in form. No one speaks of plans, no one draws designs. This is not how intention forms here. It forms slowly, through repetition, through shared stillness. As people rest, they imagine stone standing upright, not towering but steady. They imagine shapes simple enough to feel natural, as if they had always belonged. These imaginings are not urgent. They drift in and out of awareness the way dreams do before sleep arrives fully. In and out. When people touch the stone, they do so with care. They test weight slowly. They learn how the stone responds to gentle pressure, to shared effort. Nothing is forced. If a stone resists, it is left alone. Patience is not a virtue here. It is simply how things are done. As sleep deepens, you may feel this patience settling within you. The need to hurry dissolves. The urge to complete fades. There is comfort in knowing that nothing must be finished tonight. The hill remains unchanged. The stones remain where they are. And yet something has begun. A relationship between people and stone, based not on control, but on respect. The night continues to pass quietly. The stars move slowly overhead. And as you rest, the earliest foundations of something lasting take shape. Not in the ground yet, but in shared understanding. The story continues to unfold, at the pace of breath, at the pace of patience. You remain safe. The decision does not arrive suddenly. It does not come as an announcement or a command, or a moment that anyone marks as important. It arrives the way sleep arrives, quietly, almost unnoticed. One night, as people rest on the hill, hands touching stone as they often do, the sense becomes clear that a stone could be lifted, not high, not to impress, just enough to stand. The idea settles without urgency. Those who feel it remain. Those who do not feel it rest nearby, untroubled. There is no separation between them. At first, the work is simple. Stones are cleared from around a larger piece of limestone, soil brushed away slowly, revealing its full shape. It is longer than it appeared, heavier than expected, yet balanced. People gather quietly, testing weight with care, learning how the stone responds when many hands move together. There is no shouting, no counting. Movement happens through awareness. If someone tires, they step back. If the stone resists, they pause. Patience guides everything, in and out. The lifting takes time. Not hours, not days. Sometimes many nights pass before a stone rises even slightly. And that is acceptable. The stone does not need to stand immediately. When it finally does lift, just enough to rest against a support of earth and wood, there is no celebration. Only quiet attention. The stone stands there, supported, held. It does not dominate the space. It feels as though it belongs. As more stones are raised over time, their shapes become clearer, tall but not narrow, wide enough to feel steady. Their tops are shaped simply, not pointed, not sharp. They resemble human forms only faintly, without detail. No faces, no expressions, just presence. People stand near them in silence, testing how it feels to be beside something that rises from the ground deliberately. The feeling is calm, grounded. Sound changes slightly around the stone. Voices soften further. Footsteps feel slower. As sleep deepens for you, these sensations blend gently together. You do not need to see each stone clearly. You feel their steadiness instead. The night sky stretches above them, unchanged, patient. Stars move slowly behind their silhouettes. The hill feels different now. Not louder, not busier, more focused. The stones do not demand attention. They hold it gently. Over many nights, more stones rise, never rushed, never forced, each one placed with care, with respect for balance and weight. The work ends when it needs to end. There is no pressure to finish. People sit beside the standing stones, resting, breathing slowly, in and out. The pillars stand quietly beneath the stars, not as symbols, not as monuments. They stand as reminders that patience can shape stone and that stillness can be given form. As you rest, your body mirrors that understanding. You feel supported, grounded, at ease. The story continues its slow unfolding, and sleep carries you gently forward, without effort, without demand. Nothing more needs to happen tonight. The nights pass gently, one after another, and the stones remain standing, quiet and steady. They do not change the land. They settle into it. People return often now, not because they are required to, but because the place feels familiar, comforting. As they sit beside the pillars, hands resting on cool limestone, they begin to notice the surfaces more closely. The stone is smooth in some places, rougher in others, shaped naturally by time and weather. And slowly, almost without discussion, marks begin to appear. Not words, not symbols, animals. A fox, its body long and alert, etched carefully into the stone. A bird, wings folded, watchful and calm. A snake, curving gently along the surface, its form flowing without sharp edges. These carvings are not hurried. They are made slowly, with simple tools, hands moving patiently, returning night after night. There is no urgency to finish. If a hand grows tired, it rests. If the stone resists, it is left alone, in and out. The animals chosen are not random. They are creatures known well, seen often, observed quietly, respected. They share the land with the people. They move through the same valleys, drink from the same water, rest beneath the same sky. Carving them into stone is not an act of control, it is recognition. A way of saying, you are part of this place too. As you drift deeper into rest, the images soften. You no longer see each animal clearly. You feel their presence instead. The alert stillness of the fox, the quiet watchfulness of the bird, the slow certainty of the snake. The carvings catch firelight softly, shadows moving gently across their shapes as flames rise and fall nearby. The effect is subtle. Nothing flashes, nothing startles. The movement is slow enough that the mind does not follow it closely. People sit quietly near the carved stones, sometimes touching the animals lightly, sometimes simply resting nearby. No one explains the meaning. Meaning is not spoken here. It is felt. As sleep settles more deeply within you, the distinction between stone, animal, and night begins to blur. Everything feels connected. Breath, earth, carving, stillness, in and out. The pillars now feel alive in a quiet way. Not moving, not speaking, but holding memory. The carvings do not tell stories. They hold presence. They remind those who gather here of the wider world beyond themselves, of the balance between people, animals, and land. The night grows cooler. Fires burn lower. Voices fade completely. Only the soft sound of wind passing gently between the stones remains. The hill feels complete for now. Nothing more needs to be added tonight. As you rest beside these carved pillars, your body grows heavier, your breathing slower. Sleep continues to deepen naturally, carrying you forward through quiet centuries, through shared silence, through a world that moves at the pace of patience. The stones remain, the animals rest within them, and the night holds everything gently, as it always has. The night grows deeper now, and the air cools gently around the hill. Fires burn low and steady, never bright, never demanding attention. They are kept small on purpose, just enough to offer warmth and a soft, living glow. Firelight moves slowly across stone, settling into the carved animals, then drifting away again. Shadows stretch and soften, never sharp, never sudden. People sit quietly around the fires, their bodies relaxed, their movements minimal. No one feels the need to speak. Breath becomes the shared language, in and out. You can feel it, the way breathing begins to align naturally when people rest together in stillness. No one guides it. No one notices it happening. It simply does. The fire crackles softly once, then settles again into glowing embers. The sound is comforting, predictable, safe. As sleep deepens for you, the rhythm of the fire blends seamlessly with the rhythm of breath. Warmth spreads slowly across hands and feet. The rest of the body feels cool and calm. The balance is perfect. Above, the stars continue their slow movement, unaware of the quiet gathering below. They have watched many such nights come and go. This one is no different. People lean back against stone or earth, eyes half closed, faces calm. Some drift into sleep naturally, their breathing deepening, their bodies settling fully into rest. Others remain awake a little longer, not thinking, not planning, simply present. The hill absorbs everything gently, the warmth of fire, the sound of breath, the weight of resting bodies. Nothing is lost, nothing is forced. In and out. As you rest within this scene, your own breathing mirrors theirs, slow, steady, uninterrupted. Thoughts soften further now, appearing only briefly before dissolving. There is no need to follow them. The fire burns lower still. Embers glow faintly, then dim. Eventually even the fire rests. What remains is warmth stored in stone, released slowly into the night. The people remain. The hill remains. And sleep settles more deeply, wrapping everything in quiet continuity. The story does not push forward. It stays here, in shared breath, in firelight fading into darkness. And as the night continues its gentle holding, you drift further into rest, supported by the same calm rhythm that has carried countless nights before this one. Nothing changes. Nothing needs to. The night remains calm, and the hill feels settled in a deeper way now. The standing stones no longer feel separate. They begin to relate to one another. People notice this quietly, without discussion. A stone standing alone feels steady. But stones placed near one another create something new. Not power, not focus, balance. Over many nights, stones are moved carefully, their positions adjusted slowly, always with patience. Nothing is measured with tools, nothing is forced into symmetry. Instead, the stones are placed where they feel right. One faces another, another stands slightly apart. Together, they begin to form gentle circles, not perfect circles. Living ones, spaces that feel held without feeling closed. As you rest, your awareness drifts into one of these spaces. The ground feels smooth beneath you. The air feels quieter here, as though sound pauses briefly before moving on. People enter the circle slowly, sitting or lying down, allowing the shape of stone to define the space without instruction. No one claims the center. The circle belongs to everyone and no one, in and out. When voices rise here, they soften naturally. When footsteps move here, they slow. The stones do not command this change, they invite it. Firelight flickers at the edge of the circle, never bright enough to dominate, only enough to remind everyone where warmth rests. Above, the stars seem framed by stone now, appearing closer, more intentional. The sky feels contained without feeling small. Time stretches gently. People remain within the circles for long periods, sometimes speaking quietly, sometimes sitting in complete silence. Often, sleep arrives naturally. Bodies rest where they are, supported by earth and stone, breathing slow and deep. As sleep deepens for you, the sense of enclosure feels comforting, protective. Nothing enters this space abruptly. Nothing leaves in a hurry. The stones hold the night gently, allowing it to pass without interruption. Seasons change slowly around the circles. Cool nights follow warm ones. Stars shift their positions. The moon appears and fades. The circles remain. They do not change with fashion. They do not respond to trends. They exist outside of urgency, in and out. As the fire burns low, its warmth lingers in the stone, released slowly through the night. The circle remains filled even as people drift into deeper sleep. Presence stays behind long after movement ends. And as you rest within this calm enclosure, your breathing slows further, your body growing heavier, your thoughts dissolving, completely. The circles beneath the stars hold everything quietly, and sleep continues, steady and uninterrupted, carrying you onward through the long, gentle night. The hill remains unchanged, and yet it continues to draw people back. Not every night, not every season, only when something inside them feels ready to be quiet. There is no obligation to return, no rule, no expectation, and that is why they do. They come because the hill offers something rare, a place where nothing is required. As you rest now, you may sense how that feels. The absence of demand, the absence of direction, just presence. People arrive slowly, sometimes after long journeys, sometimes from nearby valleys. They recognize the place immediately, even in darkness. The shape of the land, the feel of the ground beneath bare feet, the way sound softens as one approaches. The stones stand quietly, unchanged since the last visit. They do not signal importance, they do not command attention, they simply remain. And that is enough. In and out. Those who return do not speak much at first. They sit or lie down within the circles, letting the rhythm of the place settle into them again. Breathing slows naturally. Muscles soften. The mind, so often busy elsewhere, finds nothing to hold on to here. Thoughts loosen, then fade. Firelight may appear briefly, just enough to warm hands, just enough to bring comfort. But even the fire is not always needed. The stones hold warmth from the day. The earth offers support. The stars above remain steady, familiar companions returning night after night. People rest within this quiet space as long as they need. Sometimes they sleep, sometimes they remain awake, watching the sky, listening to the faint movement of wind. There is no distinction between wakefulness and rest here. Both are allowed. As sleep deepens for you, the reason for returning becomes clearer, not as a thought, but as a feeling. This place helps the mind release what it has been holding. It allows the body to remember how to rest fully. It offers silence without loneliness. The stones do not teach lessons. They do not explain meaning. They create space. And within that space, people remember themselves, not as individuals with tasks and roles, but as part of the land, part of the night, part of something steady and enduring, in and out. As time passes, the visits continue, not recorded, not counted, just remembered in the body, the way one remembers a familiar path or a trusted shelter. The hill does not change. The stones do not change. But those who return often leave feeling lighter, quieter, more settled. As you rest now, you feel that same settling. The story does not need to explain further. The reason for returning is the same reason you are here now: to rest, to release, to be held by stillness. The night remains wide and calm. The stones stand quietly. The nights continue, quiet and unbroken, and the hill remains patient. Time does not feel like time here. It feels like a slow breathing, in and out, expanding and settling again. People still return, but less often now. Not because the place has lost meaning, but because meaning has begun to feel complete. The stones stand as they have stood, calm and steady beneath the stars. They do not ask for attention. They do not ask to be added to. They feel finished. This understanding does not arrive suddenly. It grows slowly, the way dusk grows from afternoon. No one announces it. No one explains it. It is simply felt. As you rest within this moment, you may sense that feeling too. The quiet recognition that some things do not need to last forever to have been enough. The stones have held silence. They have held breath. They have held shared rest. They have done what they were meant to do. One night, without ceremony, people begin to bring soil to the hill. Not in haste, not with sadness, with care. Hands carry earth in baskets, placing it gently at the base of the stones. The movement is slow, almost tender. There is no sense of erasing, only of covering, protecting. The soil is cool and soft, falling quietly against limestone. As the earth rises around the pillars, the carved animals disappear first, their forms returning to darkness, safe beneath the ground. The tall stones follow slowly, their outlines fading as soil gathers around them. No one rushes this work. If night grows too late, they stop. If fatigue arrives, they rest. In and out. The act feels peaceful. There is no grief here, only acceptance. The hill begins to look as it once did. Smooth, simple, unchanged. The stones rest again, not gone, just sleeping. As sleep deepens for you, the image softens. You no longer see hands or soil clearly. You feel the calm intention behind the act. Some things are meant to be hidden, not lost. Some things are meant to rest until they are needed again. The people sit quietly one last time on the gentle slope. No words are spoken. The stars continue their slow movement overhead. The hill breathes. And then people leave. Not all at once, not dramatically. They drift away in small groups, carrying nothing with them but the quiet they have learned here. The hill remains, covered now, undisturbed. Seasons will pass over it. Grass will grow, rain will soften the soil. Animals will walk across it without knowing what rests beneath. Time will continue, unaware. As you rest, this long sleep beneath the earth mirrors your own. Thoughts sink, awareness settles, in and out. The stones sleep, the hill sleeps, and you are carried gently into deeper rest, held by the same patience that allowed stone to wait for thousands of years. Nothing needs to be remembered now. Nothing needs to be understood. Time begins to move differently now. Not forward, not backward, but outward, stretching gently in all directions. The hill remains quiet, its surface smooth and unremarkable, as though nothing has ever happened here. Beneath that calm surface, the stones rest. They are not forgotten. They are simply sleeping. Earth presses softly around them, cool and protective, shielding carved stone from wind and rain, from light and disturbance. Roots grow downward carefully, finding their way between soil and limestone without force. Water passes through slowly, leaving no mark, doing no harm. The stones accept everything without resistance. Above the hill, seasons pass. Spring brings soft green growth. Summer warms the ground gently. Autumn cools the air again. Winter settles quietly, then releases its hold. None of this reaches the stones. They remain untouched, unchanged, patient. As your breathing slows further, this long waiting begins to feel familiar. There is no boredom here, no anticipation, only rest. Years pass, then centuries, then more centuries still. People move across the land above, unaware of what lies beneath their feet. Some pause on the hill to rest. Some light fires nearby. Some simply pass by. None of them feel the need to dig. The land does not call attention to itself. It keeps its secret calmly. Empires rise far away. Empires fall again. New languages are spoken. Old ones fade. Roads appear, then disappear, and still the hill remains. As sleep deepens, the idea of time begins to dissolve. Thousands of years feel no heavier than a single night. The stones do not count. They do not measure. They do not wait for discovery. They rest, in and out. Your body mirrors that rest now. Muscles soften fully. Even the smallest tension releases. Thoughts slow to the point where they barely form. The world above continues its movement, but it no longer concerns you. You are beneath it now, held by the same calm darkness that holds the stones. The hill breathes quietly. The earth remains steady. And the long sleep continues, deep, unbroken, and complete. Nothing disturbs it. Nothing needs to. Above the resting hill, life continues its gentle movement. Not quickly, not dramatically, just steadily. The land changes slowly, almost imperceptibly. Grasses grow and fade. Wildflowers appear in brief seasons of color, then return to the earth. Animals cross the hill without pause, their hooves and paws pressing lightly into the soil, never sensing the quiet presence beneath. Birds rest here sometimes, settling briefly before lifting again into the sky. Rain falls, soft and patient, soaking into the ground and moving downward, layer by layer, without disturbance. Sunlight warms the surface by day, then releases its warmth slowly into the night. The stones below remain untouched. They do not feel the heat. They do not feel the cold. They rest in a constant calm, held by earth that has learned how to protect. As your breathing remains slow and even, you may feel how comforting this continuity is. The world above moves, the world below rests. Both are allowed, in and out. People pass through the land across generations. Some settle nearby for a time. Others travel through, following paths known only to them. Fires burn and fade. Shelters rise and fall. Life leaves traces on the surface, but none of them reach the stones. The hill never calls attention to itself. It does not rise higher. It does not demand meaning. It simply remains. Centuries soften into one another. What was once new becomes familiar. What was once familiar fades. Yet the rhythm of day and night continues without interruption. As sleep deepens for you, this long passage of time feels gentle, almost soothing. There is no pressure to keep track. No need to remember what came before. Everything that needs to happen is already happening. Your body rests within that understanding. Weight settles more fully. Breathing becomes effortless. The mind no longer reaches outward. Above the hill, stars continue their slow movement across the sky, unchanged by the passing of ages. They have watched this land longer than any story could tell. They watch now, quietly, as the hill holds its secret and the earth continues its steady care. In and out. Time moves on above, but it does not disturb what rests below. And as you lie here in stillness, you feel that same protection, a sense that the world may continue without needing anything from you. You are allowed to rest. The hill remains calm. The earth remains steady, and sleep continues to deepen, carrying you gently onward through the quiet flow of time. The hill remains quiet for a very long time, so long that quiet becomes its natural state. Above the smooth surface, the world changes slowly, not in dramatic shifts, but in gentle layers. New paths form nearby. Fields appear in the distance. Stone is shaped elsewhere, used for walls, for homes, for roads. Yet this hill remains untouched. It does not draw attention. It does not suggest importance. It simply exists. And then, after countless seasons have passed, attention returns. Not suddenly, not loudly, but carefully. A few people walk the land with unhurried steps, their movements measured, their eyes attentive. They are not searching for wonder. They are observing. Their tools are simple. Their gestures are gentle. They notice stones where stone should not be. They notice shapes that feel intentional, even beneath soil and grass. Nothing is rushed. The earth is brushed away slowly, grain by grain, with patience that mirrors the patience the hill itself has practiced for thousands of years. Stone emerges again, cool, smooth, unchanged. The carved forms appear softly, animals returning to light after a long rest. Fox, bird, snake. They do not feel ancient in a distant way. They feel familiar. Those who uncover them pause often, sitting beside the stone, allowing silence to remain. There is no urgency to explain, no need to announce discovery. The hill does not feel awakened. It feels remembered. As sleep deepens within you, this moment of rediscovery feels distant, as though viewed through a soft veil. What matters is not the uncovering, but the care. The same patience that once raised the stones now reveals them again. Hands separated by thousands of years touch the same surfaces with the same gentleness. The stones do not react. They accept attention the way they accepted darkness, calmly. Above them, the sky remains wide and steady. Stars continue their slow passage, indifferent to discovery, constant as ever. Your breathing remains slow, in and out. The hill rests within both worlds now, the ancient and the present, belonging fully to neither. It does not demand interpretation. It does not insist on meaning. It offers stillness, and that stillness carries through time, reaching even now, settling gently around you. As you rest, the story does not push forward. It lingers in this quiet moment where past and present meet without conflict. The stones stand again beneath the sky, not to change the world, but to remind it how to be patient. Sleep continues to deepen, steady and uninterrupted. The hill remains calm, and you drift onward, held by the same stillness that has always been here. The stones stand quietly now, visible once more beneath the open sky. They do not speak, they do not explain, and yet they communicate something deeper through their silence. People come to stand among them, to walk slowly between the tall pillars, to rest their hands against cool limestone. Many arrive with questions. They carry thoughts shaped by the modern world, the need to define, to categorize, to explain. But the stones do not respond to that language. They offer no clear answers, no single story. Instead, they offer space, space to pause, space to listen, space to let the mind soften. As you rest now, you may feel how comfortable that absence of explanation is. There is no pressure to understand, no demand to interpret. The stones do not describe their purpose. They do not reveal intention. They simply remain exactly as they are. The carvings, animals etched into stone, do not tell stories with beginnings or endings. They are present, steady, unchanging. A fox stands alert, frozen in motion. A bird rests quietly, wings folded. A snake curves smoothly, without threat. They do not symbolize ideas in words. They remind the mind to observe without judgment. People who spend time here often find their thoughts slowing naturally. Footsteps become quieter. Voices soften. The air itself seems to encourage restraint. In and out. As sleep deepens, the distinction between stone and silence begins to blur. The stones do not fill the space. They define it. They create places where nothing needs to happen. This is what they do not say. They do not say why they were built. They do not say what they mean. They do not say how they should be remembered. They do not instruct. They allow. The hill holds them gently, as it always has. Wind passes through the spaces between pillars, producing a soft, steady hush. Light changes slowly across the stone, never abrupt, never sharp. The stones accept it all. As you rest, your own thoughts become less insistent. Questions dissolve before they form fully. Understanding is no longer required. Only presence remains. The stones do not say anything because nothing needs to be said. Their silence is complete. And in that silence, the mind finds rest without effort. Your breathing remains slow and steady. In and out. The story continues not through words, but through stillness. The night returns softly once more. Even now, with the stones standing open to the sky, the hill feels most complete after sunset. Light fades gradually, colors deepening into calm shades of blue and gray, and the air cools just enough to invite stillness. People who come here often notice that they speak less at night, not because they are told to, but because words feel unnecessary. The stones do not invite explanation. They invite listening. As you rest within this quiet moment, you may sense that difference clearly. The gentle shift from thinking to simply noticing. The wind moves slowly through the spaces between the pillars, its sound low and continuous, like a distant breath. Nothing interrupts it. Footsteps pause. Voices fall away. The hill listens, and those who sit among the stones begin to listen as well. Listening does not mean searching for meaning. It means allowing sound, sensation, and silence to exist without response. A bird calls briefly in the distance, then grows quiet again. The call does not demand attention. It passes naturally, like a thought that fades before becoming complete. In and out. As sleep deepens within you, the act of listening becomes effortless. You are no longer trying to follow the story. You are resting inside it. The stones remain unchanged. They do not guide attention. They do not distract. They hold space. People who sit here often feel time slow. Minutes stretch gently. Moments soften. There is no sense of waiting. No anticipation of what comes next. Only presence. The mind, so accustomed to explaining and organizing, finds relief here. It does not need to solve anything. It does not need to understand. It can rest. As you breathe slowly, your awareness widens briefly, then settles. In and out. The hill does not teach through instruction. It teaches through stillness, through the absence of urgency, through the quiet reminder that not everything requires a reason. The stones listen without recording. They witness without interpreting. They remain without effort. And as you rest among them, your own need to explain dissolves. Thoughts loosen their hold. Attention drifts. Listening becomes passive, gentle, almost invisible. The night deepens further. Stars move slowly overhead, steady and patient. The stones remain. The hill remains. And you remain, resting comfortably within the calm understanding that silence itself can be enough. Sleep continues to deepen, undisturbed and natural, as the story moves quietly onward toward its final, peaceful rest. Night settles again over the land, the way it always has, not with sudden darkness, but with a slow softening of light, as if the day itself is learning how to rest. The stones stand quietly on the hill, their shapes familiar now, their presence gentle and unchanging. They do not feel ancient in this moment. They feel present. The air cools slightly, just enough to invite stillness. Sounds grow fewer, distances feel wider. The world seems to step back, leaving only what matters. Wind moves lightly across the hill, passing between the pillars without resistance. Its sound is low and steady, almost rhythmic, like breath moving through a calm body. In and out. Firelight appears briefly at the edge of the hill, small and contained, its glow warm but never bright. It flickers softly against stone, then settles. People sit quietly, their movements slow and minimal, their attention turned inward without effort. No one speaks for long. Words fade quickly here, giving way to silence that feels full rather than empty. The stars above are clear and steady, spread across the sky without pattern or urgency. They move slowly, so slowly that movement feels almost imagined. As you rest now, the hill feels complete again. Not because of what stands upon it, but because of the quiet it holds. The stones do not interrupt the night. They belong to it. They rise gently from the earth, then return to it through shadow, their outlines soft against the dark. Nothing calls attention. Nothing demands awareness. The mind, so often alert, begins to release its grip. Thoughts slow, then thin, in and out. The night seems to widen, stretching gently until it holds everything. Past and present dissolve into a single calm moment. There is no story to follow now, only sensation, the coolness of air, the steadiness of ground, the slow rhythm of breath. The hill listens, the stones listen, and you rest within that listening, supported by stillness that does not change. Sleep grows deeper, not by effort, but by allowance. The night continues without interruption. The hill remains calm, and you drift quietly onward, held gently as the story moves closer to its final rest. The story begins to loosen its shape now, not ending, not stopping, but slowly releasing its hold. The hill remains where it has always been, quiet beneath the night sky, unconcerned with how it is remembered, or whether it is remembered at all. The stones stand without intention. They are no longer symbols. They are no longer questions. They are simply part of the land again. As you rest, the sense of history grows softer. Names fade, ideas dissolve. What remains is feeling, a deep calm that does not belong to any one time. The night air feels smooth and cool, moving gently across skin, barely noticeable. Breath becomes slower still, in and out. There is no need to picture the hill clearly now. Its shape dissolves into a general sense of steadiness, like the feeling of the ground beneath you when you lie down to rest. The ancient world and the modern world no longer feel separate. They overlap gently, blending into a single quiet present. People once gathered here. People gather elsewhere now. The details do not matter. What matters is that the need for stillness has always been the same. As sleep deepens, the mind stops following stories. It no longer tracks sequence or meaning. It rests. The stones fade further into the background, their presence becoming almost abstract, a suggestion of calm rather than an image. Time loses its edges. Minutes stretch, then disappear. There is no anticipation of what comes next, only a gentle drifting, as though awareness itself is floating on a quiet current. In and out. The hill no longer feels like a place outside of you. It feels internal now, a sense of groundedness that has settled deep within the body. The need to understand history has dissolved. The need to follow the story has dissolved. All that remains is rest. The night continues without interruption. Stars move slowly overhead, but you no longer follow them. Your attention has turned inward, toward heaviness, toward warmth, toward stillness. The story has given you everything it needs to give. From here, there is nothing left to do. Sleep carries you onward, past words, past images, past time itself. And you drift comfortably, peacefully beyond history. There is very little left to notice now. The story has softened completely, like a sound fading into distance, never stopping suddenly, just becoming quieter until it no longer asks for attention. The hill is no longer a place you are visiting. It is simply a feeling of steadiness that remains even as everything else fades. The stones no longer stand apart from the land. They are part of it again, resting without effort, unchanging, unconcerned with time. And time itself has become gentle, not moving forward, not moving back, just resting. Your breathing is slow now, so slow it barely registers, in and out. The body feels heavy in the best way, supported completely, with nothing left to adjust and nothing left to hold. Muscles have released their work. The jaw is soft, the shoulders are still. Even the mind, which often stays alert long after the body rests, has let go. Thoughts no longer form clearly. When they appear, they dissolve before taking shape. There is no effort in this, no instruction being followed. Sleep has arrived because it was allowed to. The night feels wide and safe, not as darkness but as a quiet presence that holds everything gently. The sense of place fades further. There is no hill now, No stones, no sky, only rest. A deep, even stillness that does not need to change and does not need to end. Breathing continues on its own, in and out. Nothing is expected of you. Nothing needs to be remembered. The ancient world has settled back into silence, and the modern world has stepped away. What remains is the calm beneath both, a steady, grounding quiet that feels familiar, even if you cannot say why. Sleep deepens naturally, layer by layer, without interruption, and it will continue. Unbroken, peaceful, timeless,